Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our CKAN Monthly Live number 23. We are happy to have you all here. I can see many familiar and not that familiar faces, which is really great. Okay, today it will be a very exciting meetup. We are featuring co-steward of CKAN project Steven De Costa and Brett Jones. He's a great CKAN contributor, member of CKAN Tech Core team. Most of you know him very well. And this is a special event because we are standing at the front of the Open Data Day at the beginning of March, which is actually a week. And we have an exciting initiative to share. As you know, last year CKAN was recognized as a digital public good. And following this event, Open Knowledge Foundation decided to do an Open Data Day related to CKAN and open data, and how CKAN is actually helping to achieve the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So today we are going to talk about this. Steven De Costa will inspire us a little bit, and then joining him will be Brett, who will show us how to just do a demo on GitHub Codespaces. Okay, so maybe I can switch the slides. So yeah, our meetup is called CKAN Demo Days plus Codespaces demo. First, I think we'll start with Steven, then we can go with Brett. After their presentation, we can have a Q&A session where you can ask questions, share your ideas. Sarah is here. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, this is your time to shine, so don't feel free to share your questions and thoughts. After the Q&A session, we can have some time for community announcements and sharing. If anybody has something to share with the community, this is your time. And then we have the closing. A few housekeeping items. We have a meeting document, which I'm going to share after my introduction ends, which will be in a minute. This is something like a cheat sheet. It's our single source of truth. You can find all the links there that you will need. Also, there is a spot for introductions, so we encourage you to put your name there, affiliation, what brings you to CKAN. You can also drop some thoughts for future meetups or some agenda contributions. Basically, anything that you'd like to share with us, you can share it there, and also you can find all the useful links. You can also suggest a topic. So yeah, I'll drop a link in a second. There are two ways to ask a question. You can raise a hand and go ahead, or you can drop your question in the chat. And I'll bring it up for you. Before I give the mic to Steven, we have a CKAN Monthly newsletter. You can subscribe on LinkedIn. You can find the link in this presentation and also in the meeting notes document. Or you can subscribe on our website. The link is there as well. Yeah, just a reminder that the session is being recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And with all that said, I think it's time for me to pass the mic to Steven. Now, I didn't make you a co-host, so do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I've got a few slides.
Okay, cool. Let me make you a co-host right now very quickly. And also do Brett the co-host.
Cool.
I just need to find your name. Yes, there we go.
My slides aren't that exciting, but they do exist, so I feel compelled to use them, right? So
you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. How's that looking? Is that coming up for folks? You'll have to vocalize and tell me if you can hear, because I can't. I'm just looking at it. Yeah, sweet. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so thanks, Joanna. Absolutely everything you just said is 100% true. There's a little bit more of a backstory, though, which I want to share. So not the weekend just gone, but the weekend before that, I was just personally thinking I might want to do something for Open Data Day. Dotopia and Link were thinking about doing some stuff in collaboration with Open Knowledge prior to all of this sort of emerging. It's not like that fell through, but things changed. And so that weekend I was just thinking about it, thinking, well, I would love to see a fresh batch of just sort of demos of all the different, doing that again, the data portals in Australia and all the different kind of people involved in the Australian CKAN sort of community, the kind of innovations, the kind of code approaches they're taking, the kind of things they're interested in, what's inspiring them, all that kind of stuff. And it was just a personal thing. And then the follow-on catch-up that we had, Johan and I and others talking about stuff, I just sort of mentioned this idea and thought it could expand beyond just what I was keen to do in Australia. It could be more of a global thing. So that's where the idea for doing this session today came about, just sort of to talk about it. So the first thing I want to talk about is what that idea was, just from my own perspective. So it's literally just tying in with the CKAN, or tying in with Open Data Day, which I like the acronym ODD. I think that's cool. That's the Epic Global and Long-Standing Advocacy and Enablement Initiative led by Open Knowledge. So advocacy for Open Data Day, it's like Earth Day. It's kind of just putting a day to a thing so we can mark it and think about it in that particular moment. But it's also an enablement day for a lot of emerging practitioners, whether that be jurisdictions or civic groups in different parts of the world. So for those who have been involved for a while on Open Data Day or have followed it, you might have kind of not been as involved, but because you're not in that sort of enablement group anymore, and the advocacy might not be as potent anymore in your particular part of the world. So yeah, I was thinking about how can we kind of reinvent it or revitalize that for lots of different people. And it seems like the portals that actually exist, that we're all familiar with in our own regions, are probably a really great way to do it, especially CKAN ones. So the what, where, and when essentially is, well, it's opendataday.org. It's a website. You can go register. The where means, localization. So there's one little pin there for Australia at the moment. Once the one that I put in there today gets approved, there'll be a second one. That's the little event that I'm hoping to host. It's a time. So basically the Open Data Day kind of registration, you can put a kind of time period, but I've put down like the 7th of March, 5:30 p.m. to host a kind of like a webinar, something like this. It'll be really for the Australian region and the folks who might put together some videos and do these sorts of walkthroughs and demos and all that kind of stuff. This is the opportunity. This is the sort of thing I'm encouraging folks to do. So I noticed on the call before, we've got Fergal from Datalinks in Ireland. Perfect opportunity for them as a company even to put on their own YouTube page or their own YouTube channel, a bunch of their stuff. And then whoever they can influence, whoever they've got sort of informal control over or formal control in terms of stuff, encourage them to put together some videos. Same with Joel with that here in the US. And the many thousands of people I think Joel must know everywhere in the US in the open data space, the Code for America folks and others over the last decade or more. Obviously people like Patricio, people like Ian in Canada, Canadian Open Data Society folks. I've been chatting to them about it. I think they're on board to kind of pull together as a group of people and see what they can do to inspire. It is an opportunity, I think, for anyone on the call or watching the vid later, this recording, to see yourself as a bit of a coordinator, to see yourself as a bit of a local champion, to really actively solicit some walkthroughs, some demos, and help people pull it together. So this is kind of the way that I introduced it to the Slack team, the Slack group here at Link Digital last night. Pretty much said, hey everyone, would you like to please help out and think of a way you can do something epic to support CKAN? So it might not be for everyone, but there is lots of cool stuff that I know that in Link and the kind of people that work with our projects and our clients can talk about. They might not think about it from a demo point of view, but there's lots of things that they could do a little walkthrough of, a little Vox Pop video cast of, things like that. It's to raise up the spirit around CKAN, encourage folks that as part of Open Data Day, that kind of walkthrough of anything they like, once it's pulled together as a collection, will be pretty impactful. It's a chance for them to talk about the things that they're proud of with regard to their relationship with CKAN. It's not just about like code. It can be around the data, it can be around the community, it can be around the jurisdictional integrity of whatever it might be that the project is related to, or it could be a research project, it could be a different type of domain. If it's grassroots and it grows organically, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. That would be something that you can do if you're a champion, and you can make that more successful. And it could be repeated every year. It's something that could be attached to Open Data Day in a really kind of current and relevant way for the CKAN community every year. So, videos from the back end perspective, not everyone sees the back end of CKAN when they, if you go and have a look at someone's portal, you kind of have a look at how it's built. Unless you're a kind of a custodian or you've got a back end user access credentials, you won't really see the back end. You won't see all the cool things. So I know for a number of portals that Link's involved in, the back end is the most exciting part. Well, the interesting part. I don't know, whatever the right word is. It's a thing that you can attach a lot of pride to if you've been the folks building it. The code perspective as well, like just going through the code and doing a talk through of the way instruction, the way it's been put together, might be really fascinating for a different set of people. But more importantly, if you're proud of it, it's something you've been doing and you want to share it, then that's enough. That's what it's all about. But also the planning and hopeful wishes. So I know like someone like Nikesh in Nepal has been working with CKAN for lots of different initiatives, for lots of different sort of practice areas, whether it's data literacy, whether it's bringing people together, communities together, ministries, agencies, jurisdictions together. Those hopes and wishes, how's it all working? How is that tool helping with the planning of openness in that region? So all this kind of stuff. So not just the front end sort of use cases that are more common, but that stuff is also great too. So don't be shy in doing something like that. And again, like it doesn't have to be your project. If you just live in a city, you live in Poland, you live in Warsaw, and you just like the portal there, you don't have to be Robert, who's on the call, to actually do a walkthrough. You could just be a happy citizen, very keen to do a little walkthrough of the portal, what you like about it. Except Robert's going to do one as well. So, and the main thing for me is like the world would be a slightly less cool place, and it would kind of suck really bad if there weren't great projects like CKAN. The way I kind of think about CKAN to kind of make sure people really understand what its social promise is, what its social mission is that if you're going to engineer something like a Boeing 747, obviously that thing is engineered for a particular environment. It's like 30,000 feet, pressurized cabin. It needs to travel from A to B in a very, not very hospitable environment for humans. So it's quite detached from reality that it's passing over. However, you know, CKAN as a piece of civic technology, not just a piece of good code, good engineering with good people who are building it together, is much more like a dirigible, much more like an airship, much more like something that would, you know, be at an altitude of 10,000 feet, where it doesn't need to be pressurized. And you know what? It can be tethered to the town hall. It doesn't have to actually travel from A to B. It is actually connected to the ecosystem upon which it kind of, you know, does its job. For me, I see CKAN as like that. It's not just a singular project with a code base with contributors. It's an implementation, and it's a connection to, like I said, civic tech, social promise. What is it that's being delivered through CKAN in those environments? Why are they choosing open source? Well, it's because they can invest in it with full control. And if there's good collaboration in the way that they might invest in it with others who have similar challenges and similar opportunities, they can do that together. So when we have these sorts of activities which really demonstrate the similarities in the way that we come together and why we come together around a project like CKAN, it strengthens the project. It's not technical direction, it's not roadmap, it's not features, it's the spirit behind the project, which is originally why everyone came together around it anyway. That's why I see it anyway. But so what am I doing? Personally, like I said at the start, I'm super keen to do everything I can to pull together anything that's vaguely Australian related to the CKAN stuff. Obviously, I've got people at Link, and I have a bit of formal control, but you know, I don't exercise that too vigorously. I'm going to use informal control and try and encourage them to volunteer, do a little video. Might be only a 1 to 2 minute, could be a 30 to 40 minute. Really up to them and how much they can invest in it, and what feels right for the content they want to cover. Whatever gets published, but for the ones that I'm going to work on myself, are probably on the Link Digital YouTube channel. Any that might come from outside of sort of like Link Digital, absolutely, wherever it makes sense for whoever puts it together, no problem. Then I'll be offering to help. I want to be that local champion in the Australian region and help people. If there's anything I can do to encourage them or support them, you know, host a Gmeet and actually record the demo while they run it, ask them questions to make them feel like it's moving at a pace and sort of like that they've got someone who kind of prompts for their responses, makes it easier content. Happy to do that. That's the sort of stuff that anyone can do if they want to be that kind of champion and try and get a regional thing going. Essentially, whatever gets created between from today to, well, 7th of March, really. 7th, 8th March is the last day for Open Data Day week. Through that Open Data Day period, 2nd of March through to the 8th of March, be sharing whatever's coming through and whatever's kind of cool, just to keep it sort of scattering through the week. But yeah, then hosting that singular event on the Thursday, the 7th of March at 5:30 p.m. to try and bring people together, to again try and reconnect with that spirit and just sort of like lock it in for that Australian region, the Australian practitioners and the people involved. Maybe do a bit of a best of, like if there's any cool things that people want to really shout out and sort of like talk about, then we can talk about that. Maybe we'll have a talk about, you know, what we want to do next year or something that might follow on from the event. What's next? Well, earlier this evening, I spoke at the Open Knowledge Network call, which is conveniently just a couple hours before this call. So those folks maybe are looking into it. You know, people like Nikesh in Nepal might get a chance to get involved and have a little bit of time for it. I just think for people on this call and people who see the recording later, just go for it. Like if this is an idea that you think has some legs for you, if you feel there's a way that you could make it your own, don't do it the way I'm doing it, do however you want to do it. There is an opportunity for whatever the videos are, if they're on YouTube, that the CKAN YouTube channel can then create a playlist and all together. So whichever ones I might be able to get for the Australian region, whichever ones Google might get for Ireland, whichever ones Joel might get in the US, wherever they're posted, if they're on YouTube, then we can create a like a big playlist and pull all that together on the CKAN YouTube channel, which would be cool. You can email me. I'd say email me from the point of view of, is there anything I can do to help you if you want to be something like a local champion, if you want resources, you want things like a CKAN slide deck that looks kind of like this, or thumbnail graphics so that you've got consistency in the way that you want to encourage people to upload videos. All that stuff I can pull together really quickly or easily. Joanna certainly can as well, but I don't want to push anything onto her. Same with Kate. But yeah, email me, and I'm very, very, very happy to help. Joanna's also put together a quick share guide, which I'm guessing will be in a minute. There's some other points she's put in there around tags that would be cool to use in terms of CKAN Demo Days. I think is the one, CKAN Demo Days 2024, I think she might have set, but she'll answer in a sec. She'll probably show us. And whether you want to put that on LinkedIn, whether you want to put that on Twitter, that kind of stuff. And then we can boost it. So whether that's Joanna or I or others who can access the CKAN media assets. But yeah, that's it. I'm really keen to talk about it with anyone who might be interested. Don't want to hold up everyone assuming everyone's super interested. But as a bit of a teaser, it kind of made sense for Brett to do a little bit of a demo, because it's just the kind of cool thing. I think he's going to go through the Codespaces stuff that Adria set up for CKAN a while back. But yeah, just to make people aware that you can spin up CKAN from any GitHub branch and how it works, what it looks like, and yeah, encourage people to do it. That's me out for now. Once I stop sharing.
Okay, I guess this is my...
Okay, I unmuted myself. Sorry. We had, thank you, Steven. That's really inspiring, and I think most of the people here would be really excited for this whole initiative. I saw some people who raised their hands. I think I lost, by the way. Was it a mistake, or did somebody raise their hand? Because I can't really see.
Augusto get the pool ticket like 1 million. He knows everyone.
Okay, maybe nobody. Okay, if somebody wants to ask something, you can raise your hand. So I will not take too much time. I just want to share very quickly so that we wrap up what Steven said. Can you see my screen first? Yes. Okay, so on social media, how you can, for example, if you want us to reshare your content, basically you can tag us on social media. For Twitter, you can use the handle CKAN Project, and for LinkedIn, CKAN. Also, you can add CKAN Demo Days in your posts. In this way, we'll have a single source of, I mean, we'll just have it all together, basically. Also, we are going to create, Steven already mentioned that we're going to create a playlist, special playlist on CKAN YouTube channel, and we'll add all the videos there. So if you want your videos to be there, you can email like either Steven or me or Kate, someone, and we'll make sure we do that. From our side, we will we'll add your video to this playlist, and we'll feature all these contributions, we'll blog about them, we'll share on social media, we'll highlight some standout projects. So all these kind of cool stuff. Okay, that was from me, and now I can pass it over to Brett. Brett, let me know if you can share your screen.
Okay, I'll just do a couple of words first. Can you hear me okay? Okay, thanks, Steven. Thanks, Joanna. My name's Brett. I work for Link Digital. I'm part of the CKAN tech team based in Berlin. My role really is kind of the more DevOps-y stuff and more of the simple coding changes, documentation, the kind of more simple bits of CKAN. And when I first started with CKAN software, the first thing I needed to do was install it. And my background's quite technical, and I struggled to install it. It wasn't easy. How you could install CKAN back then was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, was to install via the source method or the package method or the Docker method. And I did have a lot of problems, and I know other people have the same sorts of problems. So another way so if you wanted to see CKAN, if you wanted to see a version of CKAN, just to try it out, just to kick the tires, you had to kind of install it unless you got hold of the people that look after the demo CKAN.org website, or maybe even beta CKAN.org, and get an account on there. And once you were set up, you could log in and you could do whatever you wanted. But now there's another way to do it. And this is based on the amazing work that Adria did back in, I think, November 2022. And I helped him out with a little bit of testing at the time, but he did the whole thing. And I've used it a little bit in the past, but I've just started using it quite a lot now to test PRs and things. And it's a really, really good product, and it's part of GitHub. So to actually use GitHub Codespaces, you need a GitHub account. That's probably the only thing you really need to do. The versions of CKAN it runs on, well, it runs on any version of CKAN as long as it's 2.10 and 2.98 and 9.9 and 2.9.10. Previous to that, the Codespaces wasn't part of any repo or any version. So what I will show you, also, firstly, GitHub Codespaces is a remote tool for development. That's what it's really for. But another way to use GitHub Codespaces is not in any development context. You can spin up these versions of CKAN and you can see a version of CKAN very, very quickly. So what I'll do now is I think I will try and share my screen. Oh, I, for some reason, am unable to do that. Hold it. For some reason.
You are a co-host.
Yeah, no, it's my end. Just a sec.
Okay.
It's a live demo, so these things always happen.
Yeah, technical difficulties is part of it.
I was going to say, yeah, we practiced it yesterday and it worked perfectly. For Brett, it's having the bad luck.
Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. Murphy, it's
Yeah,
his fault.
I saw Joel's comment. All right, Joel, where could we put the metadata for all this cool stuff that could be collected together? No idea. Some sort of catalog, probably. Some sort of portal, some sort of thing.
Yeah, you think,
I don't know.
Are you with me? I'm going to try
Great.
that.
Welcome.
I'm so sorry. For some reason I cannot open a screen by my system preferences. I thought I took care of all of it. Let's try again. No, it's still not working. Oh, yes, it is. Hold it. Let's go. Sorry about that. Can you see my screen now?
Yay!
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay.
It just makes you more human. Brett?
Okay, so the version I've chosen for the demo is the CKAN 2.10.2, which is not the latest 2.10, it's the second latest, just to show that it runs on these, these versions that I mentioned before. So all of the code that and configuration that Adria did is contained within this directory here, the .dev container directory, and there are files in there. The main one, I guess, is devcontainer.json, which is kind of the instructions on how to do it. We have the main Docker file, and we have our compose YAML file as well. So what we do is we go to the big green button, and we see that there's a tab now for Codespaces. Now, I could demo creating a brand new one, but it would take maybe 8 minutes, maybe 9 minutes. So what I've done is I've pre-done a Codespace. It's actually down at the moment. So, so I'm just starting it up now. And basically this is a VS Code, a remote VS Code editor that is running that configuration for CKAN as a code space. The terminal is basically the standard out, standard error. And we'll see some log file information coming in there at some point soon.
So the one you pre-created, it was in sort of warm standby.
Yeah, it's one that I created just this afternoon and had it ready to go. So we see the screen here. We see this is just like a normal VS Code editor. We see all of the CKAN code and configuration here on the left-hand side. We have all our, this left-hand panel, we'll have our GitHub, our database configuration, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, so here's our log file output here. This is coming from the CKAN container that's running. Now we have this screen here, which is the browser screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up another tab in my browser window, and we see this is a normal CKAN screen that we see. I'm going to log in as some pre-baked user ID and password. And we've logged in okay. I'm going to add a data set now. But of course, what we need to do first is create a organization. So I'm going to call the organization Pigeon HQ. I'm going to add a data set. Test set 1. Visibility, I'm going to set to public. This is all pretty standard stuff. We're going to add a resource. We're going to choose a just a CSV file that I have running locally, or have on my local machine rather, and we're going to finish that. So we see, if I click through the resource, we see the view of that, all the information about that resource. We can go to the manage screen here, and we can look at the data store and see that we have our data pusher container running as well, and was used to upload the tabular data into the data store. So it's a very simple way to get a CKAN version up. It's in the cloud. You can be anywhere. It's really quick. The pricing is it's free. It's in a free tier. I can't remember exactly how many hours you have and how much storage you have, but it's quite a significant number, maybe 120 hours of time per month, and quite a large amount of storage as well. So it's a great product. I've started using it quite a lot now. Really simple PR testing and just looking at things. So there you go. That's it.
Awesome.
Thanks. Thanks. Great demo. Okay, let's open the floor for Q&A session. Feel free to raise your hand. I can see Udaya is raising a hand, so please go ahead. Can you hear
You're on
us?
mute. You're on mute, Adaya. There's also a question in the chat just about using debugger or for a running container. If you see that, Brett.
Yes, from Ian. Okay, Chris, please go ahead.
Hi, Brett. Thanks for the demo. That's really interesting. A lot of the time when we are working with CKAN, we're actually not so much working with the core system as plugins. How useful have you found the GitHub? Is this a useful environment, the Codespaces, to also spin up tests with plugins and fiddle with them and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I haven't actually used it that much for installing plugins, but I think I've installed a very simple plugin just to see that it did work. And in Adria's documentation, Adria wrote a wiki article, which he actually gave the instructions to install a plugin. It works well. Yeah, I don't think there's no reason why you wouldn't use it for the plugins. It's a development environment, so yeah, it's what it's for, really.
Fantastic. If you haven't done already, please add those links into the notes doc so that we can we can find those.
I will.
Thanks again.
I will.
Okay, now there is a queue already. I'm not sure who started first, so let's go with alphabet order. Alex, then Carlo, then Matthew. That's fair enough, right?
Matthew was earlier than me, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Matthew, please.
I don't care. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, thanks a lot, Brett. It was really interesting. Looking at the GKE interface that you used made me think about Kubernetes. Have you had experience deploying CKAN with Kubernetes or thoughts about it?
I've got a really simple environment I got with without using what are those? Yeah, so so I would create my own manifest files just to see that it could actually work, and it did. But I don't know if that many people are using Kubernetes with CKAN. I'm not sure. It might be overkill. I don't know. I'd love to know how many people are using like a very large Kubernetes environment with running CKAN, but I really don't know. But the simple stuff, yeah, I've just done as an exercise, and I can provide the link to that. I've actually created a blog post on that too, if anyone's interested. I can include that as part of the documentation for this.
Yeah, thanks. That would be cool.
Okay, now let's go with Matthew.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. Thank you very much. So thank you also for the presentation. I'm at the moment looking for, let's say, somehow marketplace for open data. So I came across CKAN, have not that much experience until now, I must say. I found it very interesting also that you can publish this data set as you showed it. Beside that, I'm very interested also to give the people, let's say, for example, somehow a possibility with a shopping cart to access an API to get data, or for example, Parquet files that are loaded somewhere on a file share. Is this something what you say this is a use case that is probably no problem for CKAN, or is this some custom coding that I have to create then in the background for such cases? What do you think?
I'm not sure if I can answer that one. Is there anyone that could help out with that question?
I can have a crack at it. So if you think about a data set as a product, as a digital good, like a PDF document or an audio book download, then the how do you commercialize that, or how you create a market for the acquisition of that would be about how you offer it out, and then how people would close with an acceptance and what perpetual agreement might exist thereafter, right? So you might have perpetual agreements on a subscription monthly basis to get updated data, or it might be a one-time. If the data gets updated from within the data set, they have to come back and repurchase it. So you might have notification services on update, all this kind of stuff. You might want to have a shopping cart sort of process where there's multiple data sets that they then accumulate into a cart, and then the same process. How do you provide an offer around that? Those sorts of things can be built to one side of CKAN if you want, because you're just looking at the data sets as digital goods. So all you really need to think of is the data sets having searchable access versus data access, like data resource access, and how you revoke that, or how you manage the state changes. But so that's a long answer to there being a not so easy answer. It's
okay.
Yeah, but you can kind of use other e-commerce platforms in combination with CKAN.
Okay.
There'd be a bit of magic to work out the business ruling and how you actually do it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Or you can build in CKAN.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
It'd be a lot of work.
Thanks.
Okay, Carlo, please go ahead.
Thank you all. I'm wondering, a few years ago, I started working with Docker Compose over CKAN, and I have found a duplication in terms of projects. There were a Docker file in CKAN and another separate project, which is the one I'm using, which was probably from the Open Knowledge Foundation, which is called, as far as I remember, CKAN Docker or Docker CKAN. My question is now this new Docker composition on the official repository, the official one supported, or we should stay with the previous one, which is from Open Knowledge?
The official CKAN Docker configuration and images is CKAN-Docker, not the OKFN one. Although the OKFN ones are great as well, but the official ones are from the CKAN-Docker repo.
You can just, sorry, if I can just jump here, the open knowledge ones are no longer maintained, so definitely use the CKAN ones, which are the only ones, the only official ones.
Okay, and the one you are using is not from CKAN repository. I've seen something wrong. It's from CKAN Docker.
It's the one that is on the CKAN organization / CKAN Docker.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, I can see Ian raised their hand, and then also, oh, that's hard. Sudamso.
I know. I know it is hard.
Yeah, I guess Ian can go first and then Sudamso.
Sudhanshu.
Okay, Sudamso. I got it right.
Thank you. Yes, so I posted a question in the chat message place. Yeah, so I'm using CKAN-Docker to install CKAN. And my question is about how to set up the debugger extension from VS Code for running containers. So I just struggle a little bit updating the Docker file. My understanding, so I'm very new with CKAN and also don't have that much experience with development, but my understanding is from the Docker file, it's getting a version of CKAN, base version, so I think it's 2.10, and then from there it does all the installation while the container is being built and start running. So I don't know how to insert. So most of the videos, they modify the Docker file before running the app. They put specify a port for the debugger. A port that is different from the one that CKAN is using for the web application. So I'm just a bit lost here, and I'll really appreciate any help on how I can have a debugger running, so I can explore the variables and understand the functions, how it works before starting modifying it.
Yeah. Okay. Has anyone used a debugger within Docker? I haven't actually ever done that before. We've had.
Sorry if I interrupt you, but
yeah,
that should be an issue exactly for this problem on Visual Studio, on the repository, talking about PyDB, the BugPy, sorry. And it's a way in the ticket you will find a way to modify this Docker composition to run the remote debugger. So you set up a port and you connect to CKAN remotely, and you debug all of your plugins plus CKAN. So take a look to the issues.
Issues, you said. I think you shared a section of the README about PDB, which is super short. Are you now talking about a conversation in the issue section of the GitHub?
Let me try to find the link.
Yes, please. Thank you, much appreciated. Right.
Perfect. Thanks. There was somebody else raising their hand, but
yeah, I was.
Yes.
Sudhamsu.
Go,
I do
Sudhamsu,
not have a question, but I think I waited too long to talk about the work we were doing since last 2 years. Is it a good time to talk about that, or should I save it for later?
Let's just finalize the Q&A session, and then we'll go to some community sharings. Perfect. Eduardo, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Great. Thank you for that demonstration. I just tested, and it's great for demoing and sharing how it works. I was wondering how currently are the work related to theme customization, which is kind of the point where we usually get stuck on, not just installing the basic CKAN setup, but deep customization of the themes and the homepage. Can you point any tutorials on that, material that we can work on to make this part of the process simpler than usually it is? Thank you.
Okay. Stephen, is it worth pointing out Sergey's videos on theming? Yeah. I don't know if that one's...
It's not there yet, but it'll be there within the next 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. We have in Link Digital, we have a YouTube channel, and one of the main developers and in the tech team, Sergey, has put together a series of very extensive series of videos over, I think it's 20 videos altogether, and we're putting them out, I think 2 or so per week. And one of probably a few of those will mention and be very heavily detailed on theming. The only problem with well, no, it's not a problem, but it is in Russian, but there is a way to be able to subtitle that into English, and the subtitles are actually pretty good, pretty solid. So maybe we could include that in the post kind of CKAN Monthly Live notes that go out, and you could take a look there. But I think it's pretty common, the theming issues, when you get into the really heavy modification of themes. Yeah, I think it's a common issue. Sorry, I can't help you directly.
Thank you, Brett. Carlo just shared the link. So, Ian, I think that's your name, right? You can have a look.
Yes, I will have a go with the PDB. Yes, it's just I think it's a bit limited compared to VS Code debugger, but I will have a look. Thank you for that.
Thank you too. Okay, do we have other questions? I saw somebody raising their hand, but then it suddenly disappeared, so I'm not sure who that was. Chris, thanks for the shout out for Porto.js. Let me see if there are some other questions in the chat. I'll put all the notes, by the way, from the chat. I'll put them in the meeting notes document so you can refer to them later.
Yeah.
Okay, nice question from Flavio. When version 3 will be available? Is there any roadmap that we can follow? Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, that's quite. Thanks, Flavio. So we have it in discussions. The current version of the version 3 is the front-end works mostly. So the part that Patricio already integrated with HTMX, then we're working on UI revamp, which would be a total redesign, restyling. So basically decoration, no inner changes for out-of-the-box UI that CKAN has. And it would be updates from Dragon, Elasticsearch, easier integration of different search engines aside of Solr, and then we'll see what we will end them. I don't have a clear timeline for now. The expected date that I have in my mind is the 1st of June. It moved 1 month. It was 1 month before that. So yeah, please follow CKAN 3.0 in GitHub discussions. We have an area there, and basically all the conversations that are happening or updates that I'm sharing, they're there. And also CKAN newsletter is also a good source of fresh information, because we are gathering all the info across the community and with the updates from the teams by me and Joanna. So it would be there as well. That's it. If you have questions, please write them down, send them, or write me. I will put my email below.
Thanks, Alex. Do we have other questions, guys? Maybe we can have 10 seconds for questions, and then we can go to Sudhamsu, who can share. Yeah, by the way, we're running out of time, I'm aware. So whoever's free to stay, please stay. And also feel free to drop if you have some other meetings or engagements, and then you will be able to watch the recording I usually don't like interrupting people, so I prefer just to continue. Yes, some people are dropping. Okay, I can see there are no more questions, so please, Sudhamsu, go ahead and share
Okay.
with the community what you have.
I have known CKAN for more than 7 years now. I just did not, maybe that's wrong of me, I did not engage with all of you before. So for the last 2 years, I started working on India Data Portal. We wanted to develop a data portal that hosts high value, high quality, very large, huge, humongous data sets that are provided by the government of India. And we went in the route of using CKAN as a microservice to use the APIs and render it on React-based framework like Portal.js. We tried Portal.js. It was our initial work or deploying it on some different UI other than CKAN's own UI. So we have our live portal up and running since last 3-4 months with about 120 data sets. And we also created portals for 2 other different states in India, engagements with the state governments in the country. So I would like to take some time, or probably next time, or create a video demo for the Open Data Day or something. But we have integrated CMS and Graphic Walker by Canaries for visualizations on the front end. Really good stuff. Probably you will like it, and probably I'll get suggestions and feedback on what are the things that I can improve on the portal or where else I can do. So the link is indiadataportal.com. Please feel free to take a look at it. And my email is there on the document list. I'm open to engagement, or I'll be a better participant in the discussions going forward. And we also want to make this an open source software with all the microservices and visualization engine all put together, and IIM included. Yeah, thank you for someone for posting the link. Actually, Sagar helped us in the initial days to get good understanding of what to do and how to navigate with CKAN. And now that I have spent about 2 years, close to 2 years on CKAN, I'm pretty good with it now. I understand where and everything happens in CKAN in the backend. Feels good about resolving issues or understanding why what is happening. So thank you. Thank you so much. Really, we couldn't have brought up a better version of India Data Portal if not for CKAN and other open source tools. And I think we are doing our bit in engaging with the governments to develop or put up their own state data portals and their own data. Thank you, Flavio. Yeah,
That's cool.
that's
So, yeah,
all.
do a demo.
Now, sure.
No, as in for the demo days, for the Open Data Day.
Demo day, yes, sure. I'll do.
You can boost it, and especially that thank you stuff.
I already have a Bollywood style video about launching of India Data Portal with all sound and all that stuff. So probably I'll use that or make new screencast video for that.
It's very cool.
By the way, I belong to Indian School of Business, business school in India, one of the great business schools in the country. I mean, in the world. So this started off as a grant with BMGF, and then going ahead with multiple stakeholders and state government engagements. Yeah.
Thanks for the sharing. I just had a look on the website. It really looks neat. So well done, and we will be looking forward to your demo for sure.
Yeah, we'll share.
Really nice work. We'll
Thank
test
you,
it.
Sagar. Sagar, we need to talk later.
Oh, Sagar is part of it. Okay. Yes, thank you, Steven. You can drop. We'll just have a quick closing, and then that be it.
Thanks.
Are there any people first? Thanks, Steven, for the great presentation. You're always very, very inspirational. Yes. Okay. Now, is there somebody else who wants to share something, or are there any other questions? If not, we can go to our closing round. You have 10 seconds. Everybody likes the portal.
Oh, yeah.
Can I quickly say something? I
Yes,
think,
please go ahead.
It would be a good idea for those people who are doing, launching data portals of in conjunction with local governments or even central governments, to actually to have a session and discuss how they interact with the government, how the project proceeds, where they get the fundings, the operation side of it, for other countries to kind of adopt and learn from it and see how to navigate the way forward and how to initiate the project.
Sure.
I think that would be a really helpful information in order to, for other entrepreneurs or people who are interested in initiating such programs and platforms, to be able to communicate it and pitch it to the local government and build something out of it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe we can organize a CKAN Monthly Live brainstorming session to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds good, because I think it opens many doors for other people to do similar project, and also they can learn from the experience of likes of what Suramsu has done, because they've already paid the price, they've already been there. So I think it could be like used as a blueprint for other people in other countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely, I'll do everything in my potential to help.
To exchange best practices. Yes. Great. Thanks, Masoud.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And yeah, as I said, maybe we can think about doing like a brainstorm or something.
If you happen to put a session together for this purpose, if you could announce it, I'll definitely be very, very interested to be part of it.
Okay, great. Thanks. We'll think about it, and then we'll contact you. Okay, there was somebody raising their hand again, but then it disappeared, so I'm not sure what happened. That's your last chance. Like, if you want to share something, please go ahead now, because we run out of time. So we should wrap it up. Am I sharing my screen? Yes. Okay, Bob is here. Oh, Bob. Okay, cool. There we go. Bob, please go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, yeah, no, I just was going back to the pose experience. Like, I'm happy to design workshops and things like that as part of it. I've just been had a conflict with a meeting that we've always had at this time. So those meetings have changed. So hope to be here much more often. And Steve has been here from our team too.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be very glad to have you here more often. And yes, that's a great idea. We can discuss it for sure. I think this workshop design does miracles. Okay, guys. You can see my screen. Let's wrap it up. So that's a wrap for CKAN Monthly Live. A big shout out to Steven, who already dropped for the inspirational presentation, and also to Brett, of course, for this fantastic demo. Just a quick reminder that the Open Data Day event, which will be a whole week, is from 2nd of March to 8th of March. So yeah, you can have that in mind. Maybe prepare some demos, cool stuff to share. Yeah, we hope you'll get involved. If you want to have a talk at CKAN Monthly Live, we are on the lookout for engaging CKAN related projects. So you can fill out a form. It's in the presentation and in the meeting notes document. And also you can write directly to me. We'll be glad to have you here. If you want to suggest a topic, there is a file. It's called Suggestions for Topics and Speakers. You can open it and put your suggestion there. You can suggest speaker or just a topic or anything, basically. Of course, if you want to subscribe for our CKAN newsletter, you can do it in the link that you see on screen or in the meeting notes document. If you need some help or you want to get involved in the project, on our website, there is a community page. If you go to ckan.org/community, you'll find many useful links there. You can go to and create GitHub discussion, for example, or you can go to Gitter chat with your, like if you have some questions, Gitter is very good place. It's very active there. You can also join the dev meetings. They happen every Tuesday and Thursday, same time as CKAN Monthly Live. And if you have some security related issues, you can email to security@ckan.org. We can stay connected. You can follow us on social media. All the links are available in the presentation that you see, and they're also available in the meeting notes document. I'm repeating myself. And with that being said, I think I said it all, right? I didn't miss anything. Thank you for joining us today. I think it was a really great meetup. Every contribution, basically, that's just one thing I want to say, and then I'll let you go. But every contribution to CKAN, no matter how small it may seem, is a step towards unlocking the potential of open data. So we are not just participants here. We are actually the driving force. So yeah, let's keep that spirit, as Steven said. Yeah. And that's it. Till we meet again, keep those data fires burning. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.